This is the weekly What's New. What's new? Actually, there's a couple things new. I have a bunch of videos of some parts that I got in. Got a lot of parts in, actually. Been what else is new? It's 33 degrees plus humidity. I think it was 42 degrees today. And as I'm out, I can feel the temperature difference because it's probably, I don't know, 27 degrees outside right now. It's nighttime. And I could feel the coolness from the concrete, and it's still not. It's still hot in here. It's like cool down here and hot up there, which is expected. So what's new? In a video that you'll probably see me do, I have a rolling engine here that has no brakes. That I bought a parts bike for the engine because it looked like it was good, and apparently it runs. So we're gonna go with that. With that said, it believe it or not, what was I gonna say? Yeah, what I did was I basically was like, before I strip the thing and take it apart and end up with another pile of parts, let me see if I can get it like somewhat working, or let me just see if it starts. That's what it was. And the only way I could think of to if I get it started to turn the engine off was, well, let's see if the kill switch works. But there was no key on the bike, and my nose is itchy for some reason. There was no key, so I basically taught myself how to replace the ignition thing. So I'm like, I got to learn something. So I took the ignition apart. I didn't videotape because it's pretty boring. 2 screws and a wire. And the air conditioning in my house dries out my nose, causes crazy shit. So anyway, with that said, I put the ignition key in there, put the key in. Then I was like, I have an old battery here. Let me see if the battery works. So I took the old battery. I'm going to sneeze now. Took the battery, put it inside, turned the ignition, and the neutral light came on. And I was like, ooh. So it means something in the electrical system's working. So then I was like, well, the kill switch is still hooked up on the handlebars. So let me push the what do you call it? The start button. So it went like barely turned over the starter. So I was like, oh, okay. The starter turns over. No, there's not enough juice in the battery. So I basically sat there. I'm like, okay, the starter switch works. I can't put it in reverse to see if the reverse light comes on because there's no reverse. There's no cables on it. There's the brake cable's on there, but I think it's so stretched it doesn't work. I think the brake spring in the back probably doesn't work, so I gotta get a new spring for it. Take the whole rear end off. The front has zero brake. There's nothing on it. The whole entire wire, cable, everything's messed. It has a throttle cable, and there is I think a choke cable, but the end of the choke cable's missing. And I'm looking. I thought I had an extra choke cable. And I'm like, well, that ain't working. So I put the handlebars, straightened them out, loosened them up, put the thing back on. And I'm like, how am I going to start this thing? And stupid me, I have an 85 rig over there that the start button doesn't work because I think the fuse blew. And I'm like, I kickstart it all the time. And I'm like, duh. Like, why don't I just use the kickstart? Oh, and I took the gas tank off prior to it, because the metal gas tank wasn't working. So I put a plastic, I had a shitty plastic gas tank outside. So I hooked the plastic gas tank and jerry-rigged it with some shitty tubing and stuff. Put a little bit of gas in it. And I don't think this bike has been started for at least a decade. Because there's stickers on the front. There's stickers on the front fender that say 2003, 2004. And the guy I got it off of said it hasn't ran in a long time. He was planning on fixing it. So the rear fenders are finished. It's got no side covers, and the front rack is welded to the forks. Yeah, thank you to do that one. So with that said, I kick-started it, and believe it or not, after one kick, it started. I was like, oh, you have a woohoo moment. So I was like, oh my god, this is cool. So anyway, I put it all away, whatever. Came back during the day because I came back to I painted these things, the forks. One has about 3 coats of paint, and this one has 1 coat of paint, and I remember to prime it, and that one has at least 4 coats. So now the 4th coat, it's becoming smoother. I sanded it down a little, This one I got. It's way too humid out to paint right now. So with that said, came out here, did that, and I'm like, you know what? Let me try this bike. I took the back rack off, tried to hook up a brake cable. I got the cable installed. Then I was like, you know what? The cable is too stretched, or the brake spring is screwed. I learned that later by doing some oogling and googling on Partzilla and looking at the manual that there's a little spring that keeps the little brake thing back or whatever. I don't know. So I'll get a new spring for that. Went, started up, popped it in gear, and if you look, I think I posted a video of that thing going. I think everybody tells me the timing chain tensioner might be stuck or it might need a new timing chain, but it's not getting one right now. I'm gonna order the timing chain because I'm not taking this whole engine apart. I don't know how to take the engine apart. From what I can tell, I can basically pop the head off it. I need a new gasket. Pop the side cover off. I probably need a new gasket. I watched a couple of videos on how to take this apart, and I'm not convinced I'm too. I don't know, but I have a practice engine, so I'm gonna see if I can take the timing chain out of this practice engine and put it back together and learn all the specs. And like one guy had a cardboard. He drew on a cardboard all the bolt holes, so I know where all the bolts are for the cylinder head, the top end, because you got to take the top end off and take the thing. And like I learned how to do the top part, and I think I know how to take. There's like 6 things, and I need at least possibly a puller. So with that said, I was driving up and down. I drove it around circles because it has no brakes. Then I'm like, let's see how many gear, like see if all the gears work. And so I went speeding down that way and almost rammed into a metal dumpster because I realized, oh yeah, I have no brakes. So I was like gearing down to slow down, and what a hoot! I've never fixed an engine or did like anything like this to a bike and actually got it to work. I've never been a like engine person. I could have learned many years ago with my father. So with that said, that's coming. I'll take the camera up and I'll show you in a second. Before I get this thing working, the good part is since it runs, now I know it's a runner, it's worked, whatever. I don't even know if there's a skid plate on the bottom, to be honest. So I'm going to be getting the skid plate sandblasted and painted black. I found a nice one. I'm taking this rear rack off it because there's fenders on it, but came with rear fenders all busted. Came with a trunk, which is good because most of the trunks are finished. I'm going to take the trunk off of it. I'm going to take the rear rack apart. The headlight lenses seem like they're okay and all that stuff. The bolts getting those things might be a pain in the ass. I'm sending the little headlight dishes, the rear rack, and the front rack that I have out to get painted. And after I get that painted, I'm probably going to put it on, plus the other rack I have. There's 2 racks I'm sending out. I'm going to put that, and you're going to see a video come up with me putting a rack on this, and I basically have to air off the whole front end. The entire front end is coming off this bike. So what I'm planning on doing is, I'll put the camera this way to show you. This little swing of the garage here. That right there is the bike. The front end here is all got to come off. So what I have in store for that front end is I figure if I got to take somebody welded the rack on, so that even if I grind off that front end, it's still gonna look like shit. So I'm like, am I really gonna go get a rack redone? Plus that one's bent, so I might have to make a jig and try to bend it back because I think the rack might, like if I can bend the rack back, it might be usable. I'm also thinking of taking a rack and taking the dented one and making one that's a little, just fixing one so it's okay. So when my daughter slams into a tree, I don't have to pay $800 for a perfect one again, so she can do it twice. I can just mangle it or unmangle it. So in a previous video you've probably seen, I have all the bolts brand new for the whole steering stem. Anything that you brand new put on the steering, I picked it up Partzilla. I also have new front shock covers. I don't know. I don't think since I know the front shocks come off fairly easy, I know how to take them off. I will redo the shocks at a later date. I also picked up a brand new set of front brake pads, genuine Honda ones. So, and I also have the rear brake cable, the parking brake cable, and the front brake cable all sitting at the post office right now. So I'm gonna try to put the brakes on it for now, just so I can like kind of like test it. And if I can get the rack done in a couple of weeks, I'm thinking of going out and just maybe next month buying a set of Meyer plastics, just the two back fenders, because I think the trunk lid is usable but not very good. The trunk lid, the trunk, and you might see me with a couple of videos basically cleaning parts, because I'm probably going to take the trailer hitch off. Actually, yeah, I'm sending the trailer hitch, the rear rack, the front rack, and the what do you call it? The headlight thing. Oh, and the lights work. I don't know if the back lights work, but the front light works. I'm like, oh. So if the front light works in this one, and I got to check the other one, but basically most of it's intact. So if I can get this thing rolling and get it all nice, whatever, with a set of Meyer fenders on it, I'm then going to start get this one. I'm going to bring the other one, swap it out so my daughter can use it. I'm also this is an 87 Big Red. It's slightly rarer than the other ones. They made 4,990 something of them. I don't have a Reggie for it, so I don't know if it fell off a cliff or whatever, but the guy told me it's not stolen. In fact, the guy told me he had 27 three-wheelers. So with that said, I have a lot of parts, a lot of stuff, and you're going to see a couple of videos of me fixing stuff. I'm actually going to try to make some videos of how to fix things that I haven't seen on YouTube, because I've been looking for how-to videos on how to fix stuff, and there's a lot of like oil change videos, which I'll probably do oil change, because I got to change the oil filter and change the oil in here and probably gear oil. But overall, it's pretty good bike. Like the tank is like dented to hell, but the inside is better than all the tanks I have. So I'm gonna get a sticker kit for it. What I'm probably gonna do is, in the long run, since this is a rare bike, after this one's rolling and I keep using it, I find a bench to put the other one on, one of the blue tarps here, and I get that a rolling chassis. I'm going to get the other one running, hopefully, knock on wood. Try to get the other one running, because it's not as rare. So I want to get a roller so I can, but I'm gonna riding around this with my daughter. The other one's registered, so I can put a plate on and drive wherever I want. Where I live, nobody cares about plates. Like, it's kind of like sketchy. My other one, I have the plates for it, but I don't. It's not insured, so what the hell? I mean, doesn't make it drive any better. It's just a form of taxation, right? Plates registration is just taxation. That's all it is. It's a way to collect money. So with that said, I think I did a 12 or 13 minute video here. I'm doing a lot of cool stuff. As for all the other stuff in the garage, I will be doing some of that. As for the garage moving, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I gave up talking about that. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. You'll see me sweating in another video, because I do multiple videos after this. It is hot in here. I didn't go outside today because I get heat stroke really quick. I also learned how not to get heat stroke in the past 2 years, and did pretty good last time it was 30 degrees out. Lots of water, and water doesn't hydrate you, folks. Water and a pinch of salt, because if you don't put any salt in your water, you're just peeing out electrolytes. Remember that. Next time you go and drink a bottle of water, put a pinch of salt in it. You will stay hydrated. Otherwise, you're just going to go to the bathroom 42 times. So, anyway, not to be a nutritionist, but I got to go and make more videos. Thanks for watching. Toodles.